Hello! Welcome back to my channel, guys. Just coming back with a little different type of video today. My name's Eric, or Kinkle in Pokemon Go / some video games I play online. But yeah, today we're gonna go over a deck that I worked on. It's a new one I just made. It's going to be a little bit of an explanation of how the game is played, but not fully that. This is more kind of the first step, which is making the deck and what you need when you're making the deck, some things to consider if you've never played the game before when you're putting your deck together. Because, you know, it's kind of a balancing act. You kind of have to make decisions when you're putting it together. And then playtest it. Playtest is the best way to see how it really works. But yeah, this is my Lugia deck with this Lugia from the 25th anniversary celebrations set. I just like Lugia, so I bought this one for 50 cents a dollar. And yeah, decided to make a deck with it because I'm gonna play against my friend, and I don't know, I've never really made a good normal type. Like, Lugia is normal, so I'm kind of basing it around him. Which means we get the freedom of, you know, no type restriction. So that's one reason I chose this. Now, that's the first thing you'll want to think about when you're putting a deck together, when you're choosing, you know, what cards you're going to put in it. Is the types. The first time I was told how the game is played, I thought you could just sort of throw as many types as you want, which in this case you kind of can't because it's normal. Normal uses any type, but that's besides the fact. You know, it's really hard to have a deck that's like has like a Charizard and a Blastoise and a Venusaur and a Raichu and a Rhyperior and like all these different types, and like actually functionally use it, just because there are limits. So every deck has 60 cards. Alright, so that's a good place to start. Typically it's best to choose 2 types in my experience. You can do 1, but you can have more weaknesses with 1. Normal's a little different, I will say. Like, if you're coming from the video game like I did, when I first learned the game, you know, Lugia, he has a couple I think he's water flying, right, in the video game. They're putting him as normal here because A, there's no flying type. And there is a water type Lugia, I have one, but this is one that sort of errs on its normal prowess, right? So yeah, it's going to be weak to electric, and it's going to resist fighting, so kind of like a flying type if you think of it that way. A lot of flying types are made into normal type cards. And you'll see other things like that, like poison will be made into psychic, or ground will be rock type, right? So, for fighting, yeah, that's what it is. So anyhow, this one is a little bit different because I'm just doing Lugia normal type, and I have it arranged with the Pokemon up front, and then the energy. So this particular deck, out of the 60 cards, 26 of them are energy. 26, so it's almost half. That means I have room for 34 more cards after that. And you might say, Eric, why is that? Well, you can only attach an energy once per turn, unless you have some other card specifying otherwise, or ability or something. So that requires you having that energy, having drawn that energy, not having that energy stuck in one of your prize cards, which if you don't know what that is, don't worry, but there are prize cards that you can only get by making the other opponent's Pokemon faint. So it could be stuck in there if you had some like, oh, I need this dark energy and it's the only one. Don't do that. Don't do that. But anyhow, you can see I have several types of energy because it's normal. Of course, I'm gonna have this double colorless energy because this is like cheating, and I can add 2 and 1. And I also have this V-Guard energy. I haven't decided if I want to use it. I do have a Lugia V that I opened, but I don't know if I want to play with it. But yeah, so that's what you have to consider with your energy are the types you choose. Usually maximum of 2, can push 3, maybe if you get rid of some item cards and like very limited Pokemon selection, maybe. But I recommend 2 to start. I really do. And then in the back here, we do have a fair amount of trainer and supporter cards, right? Which I think this one has about 12, 10, 1, 2. So this has 11, right? So the reason I use these is because they will help me get the energy I need for when I don't have it, the Pokemon I need. So say I have Charmander and Charizard, but I don't have Charmeleon. Well, I need Charmeleon to use that Charizard. So like sometimes having a Pokemon communicator or something to that effect will be worth it. Pokeball can also be effective. Energy retrieval. A lot of it has to do with energies. Revive, so I could get a Pokemon that's fainted, come back. Things like that. So you want to consider what you think would be helpful, kind of like in the video game, really. It's the same game, it's just in the card format. So yeah, I did open, I think if you guys want to go back to maybe 2 or 3 videos ago, I did open a pack where I got leftovers, a card that's leftovers. I think it was in the 151 ETB because it came with the Snorlax has the special like leftovers ability or something. So leftovers is a very good card. It makes you heal every turn. So there's some cards that you can attach that item to the Pokemon, and until that Pokemon faints, it's gone. Those are items. Items are items. Okay, they do what the card says. So once you have your typing and your energy and some good trainers, which you could do the trainers at the end, but I like to do them first to make sure I have room, and then kind of like sparse it out after. Then you do your Pokemon, right? Which this one is based around Lugia, of course. So you got the normal typing. You can use several types. I do want to point out before we go ahead too far, that's also why I have so many like energy retrievals, is because the more types, the harder it is to get what you need. When we have normal Pokemon in here, that's not the worst thing. Okay, so what normal types do we have? They're in the back here. We have Dodrio and Doduo, because they have the retreat aid. So a retreat aid, if you read that, it's telling us that as long as this is in play, or on my bench, actually, your active Pokemon retreat cost is 2 energies less. So if you ever have a Pokemon in battle, right? Like say we like threw him out. He evolved, he's Dodrio, and we attached 3 energies, but Dodrio's weak to whatever they threw out next, and we have a Pokemon on the bench behind him who we've powered up already, and he's ready to come out and beat him. We can do that, but we have to pay the retreat cost, which is down here. Retreat cost. So every Pokemon will have a retreat cost. Usually it's just 1 or 2, sometimes it's 3 or even 4 if it's a really big, like, legendary card, you know. But this guy will reduce it by 2, so he's very useful. So that's why I put him in. Next we have a Togetic family. So this is a great... Oh. So this is a great thing to show you. So he's normal. So we're not focusing on the types too much here, but you might be like, Eric, why do you have 2 Togepis and 2 Togetics and 1 Togekiss? And well, the reason is odds. So if you have a Pokemon that helps you a lot, which I know in the past this one really did, they all have decent HP. They can attack with pretty low amounts of energy. Like this one needs 2 and 3 to do 80, right? Of any energy. So, yeah, the reason I'm doing that is because I need Togepi, and then I need Togetic just to get to Togekiss. So say you have a Blastoise deck and you want to get to Blastoise, I highly recommend putting in like a couple of the basics and the stage 1s leading up to that, 2 or 3, maybe even 2 of the Blastoises if you can get them, right? If it's centered around something or some sort of, how do I put this, like, if it's centered around some sort of plan involving that card, and you know that that card will help you, I usually recommend putting in some doubles, just to make sure you get it. Because like I said, it can be a shame if you get everything but the middle, or everything but the last one, and, you know, do all that work and not even be able to execute your plan. And item cards are there to help you. And then these are my other basics I chose. We do have a Munchlax. We do have a Snorlax. I like Munchlax and Snorlax because they are basic. They're both basic. They just kind of go together well. And I can actually use Munchlax to put Snorlax out and evolve him really quickly if I want to. So it's kind of cool. Chansey, just like in the game, just a good one, coming clutch. He's got some HP, he's doing damage, you can put him to sleep if you need a little buffer there. And Audino, right? So yeah, just kind of like, I chose to make the normal cards kind of the skeleton of the deck, if you will. And then around that, it's an Eevee deck. So it's a Lugia deck, normal type Eevee deck, which I love. To start out, we have several Eevees, right? So I think we have 4. One is the original fossil or jungle set Eevee, just because I think he's still good. This one's good because you have Call for Family. Lets me search for a basic Pokemon and put it on my bench. Right? So I get another Eevee. And then I can evolve them into Glaceon, and Leafeon, and Vaporeon. I have a couple Vaporeons, right? This is a German Flareon. We have Umbreon, another Flareon, a Jolteon, a Sylveon, and this is basically what will make my normal type deck. Oops, oh, I just threw in a Gyarados, right? Because we have Vaporeon and Glaceon, like extra water anyway. So use that kind of logic. Like, what are you already using, right? Like, just kind of go with what will work based on what you're already using. Because if there's something that you definitely want to use, have that skeleton. Like in this one, the normal cards are the skeleton. Eevee is normal because normal type doesn't care what kind of energy I use, right? I can use Vaporeon's 2 water energies on this guy if I need to. So it all kind of works. So yeah, I'm really excited to use this deck actually because I've never made a normal type deck, like I said, and I've never actually made an Eevee deck. I did do a really cool Espeon Umbreon deck because I love Pokemon Coliseum, and in college that was a really good one because I had a Psychic and Dark, so like that's good. Psychic and Dark is just a good type combination. They each cover each other's weaknesses and strengths really well, balance each other out. Water and Fire would do the same thing. Ground and Electric, kind of the opposites cancel. But you can come up with some other interesting ones, because like I said, the cards vary. Like, not every single normal type is going to have the same weakness. Not every single grass type is going to have the same weakness. Like this Leafeon is weak to fire, most probably will be, but some grass types might be weak to another thing, like Psychic, right? Because they're weak to poison. So we kind of go with what the cards say. Read the cards, put the pieces together like a little puzzle, and once you do that, you're gonna probably have to count, either get rid of some that you can't keep anymore or add some. In this case, I had to add a couple, which was kind of weird, but I think it's just because I was I already had the plan in mind, so I already had so few Pokemon. But yeah, we just added a couple more evolutions. I think I want to add an Espeon. There's no Espeon. But yeah, once you guys do that, you're pretty much ready to play. Just count it, make sure there are 60. Make sure you're not missing anything. You're not missing any evolutions. And just have fun. So yeah, that's kind of how you start out, kind of framing and making a deck. 60 cards. I am going to put a link in the description to a really good ASMR video that I found by this YouTuber, and she really explains the rules really well too. So check that out if you want to, learn a bit more. I'm looking for people to play. If you're willing to play the game, even if we set it up where you have to play online and put it down, I don't know, we could probably figure something out. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have fun making your own Pokemon deck, and yeah, take care of yourselves. Please subscribe or comment or give me a like if you haven't already. Thank you.